Hey everyone, this is Alex Dunn with another quick Xamarin tip. We're going to look at our third way for calling platform-specific code from our portable class library. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos, we've put the source code up on GitHub for it. And we also have a link here to the HockeyApp SDK, since that's the platform-specific code we're going to be implementing in our PCL. So our third method is the Service Locator pattern, which is really an anti-pattern. Previously, we looked at using the Xamarin.Forms dependency service. That is also using a Service Locator anti-pattern, but we're going to look at it again with the same approach, but without using Xamarin.Forms. So you can use the same method if you're writing in Xamarin native code, but still using your PCL. So back in Visual Studio, you can see our original implementation for our iOS HockeyApp service. We have our Xamarin dependency tag here, which registers it for our dependency service. And then you can see in our main page, we were pulling the reference from our dependency service here, and then calling our get feedback. So what we're going to do now is in our PCL and in our iOS project, we're going to add a reference to MVVM Lite through NuGet. You can use any either MVVM or IOC package. I'm choosing MVVM because it ships really light, hence the name, and it's just convenient. So we're going to go ahead and add that. So now that we've added our MVVM Lite libs NuGet package to our PCL and our iOS project, what we're going to do now is in our iOS project, we're going to create a new service for our inversion of control. So I'm just going to call it IOC service. And so this is where we're going to actually register the hockey service as our implementation for our interface. So we get a reference to simple IOC, which is the IOC container that ships with MVVM Lite. And so now we're going to call the default singleton and register. Oh, whoops. Need to make a method for it. And then basically we register our iHockey service, and then the other type passed in is the actual implementation. So that would be our hockey service. And then below this, we're going to take our service locator from Microsoft Practices, and then we're going to set our locator provider to a function that returns the default from simple IOC. So now back to our PCL, we're going to add a service here, and we're just going to call it our locator service. Right. So this is going to be used to actually pull down instances of our registered dependencies. So we're just going to add a property here, iHockey service, hockey service, and then this is just going to have a get that returns from our service locator. Dot current, and then we call dot get instance of the type iHockey service. And we should probably return that. So now we just need to instantiate these two services. So we're going to go back to our app delegate, and below where we commented out instantiating the singleton, what we're going to call is IOC service, we're going to call var service equals new IOC service. and then we'll call service.register services. So now in our main page, we can copy out this bit from our Xamarin.Forms implementation, and we can call var service equals new locator service dot hockey service. And then we're going to want to go back to our main Xamarin.Forms app and basically do the same thing. Instead of calling the init here, we're going to call new service, our locator service dot hockey service dot init. So that's it. So now we've de-Xamarin.Formsified ourselves so that if we weren't running this in Xamarin.Forms, we could still handle the same logic here where we're calling our injected dependency using our service locator. So now when we run this again, we should still see the exact same results that we did from the previous 2 times. So now running our app again, we should see the same feedback controls pop up when we click our button. So there you go. So now we've been able to decouple our Xamarin.Forms bits from our personal platform bits. So if you're not using Xamarin.Forms, you can still handle this logic the exact same way with your service locator. This is using MVVM Lite, but you can also use any other service or roll your own. It's really not that hard. I just personally prefer MVVM Lite because it's really light in the actual app size, and it's pretty simple and easy to use. So the next thing we're going to do is move away from the service locator anti-pattern and actually move into a dependency injection with inversion of control pattern. So stay tuned for that one.